Hendrick Chevrolet win the Cookout Clash at Bowman Gray Stadium.
Fantastic job.
Go, boys. Awesome job. Appreciate y'all.
The return of NASCAR to Bowman Gray Stadium after a 54-year hiatus was already historic, but what comes next might redefine the sport's future trajectory. Let's explore the details of NASCAR's latest revelations about this fan-favorite track and their ambitious international plans. The Pat Bowman Gray Stadium marked NASCAR's first return to this historic venue since 1971. This quarter-mile track, known as the Mecca of Madhouse, delivered exactly what fans had been craving. Authentic, old-school NASCAR racing with plenty of beating and banging. The event was an overwhelming success. All 17,000 seats sold out 2 months in advance, with spectators coming from 44 states and even 5 countries to witness this remarkable return to NASCAR's roots. The atmosphere was electric, as fans stood up from their seats lap after lap, witnessing the intense competition that unfolded before them. Bowman Gray Stadium isn't just any track. Built in 1937 as a public works project during the Great Depression, it hosted its first event in 1938, a football game between Wake Forest and Duke. The stadium, owned by the city of Winston-Salem and home to Winston-Salem State University's football team, has a rich NASCAR history. The first Cup race at Bowman Gray was held in 1958, won by Bob Wellborn. Rex White holds the Cup Series record with 6 victories at this venue, while Hall of Famer Glenn Wood claimed 4 wins and a total of 29 victories across all divisions at this historic track. This connection to NASCAR's past made the return especially meaningful for longtime fans and racing purists. To prepare for the Cup Series return, NASCAR made substantial improvements to the facility. They fortified the catch fence, installed safer barriers for driver safety, added new permanent LED lighting, and brought in additional temporary lighting for the race nights. These upgrades allowed the historic venue to meet modern safety standards while maintaining its classic character. The 2025 Clash featured 39 cars, with a format specially designed for the small track. The cars were divided into groups for practice sessions, followed by 4 heat races on Saturday night. The main event consisted of a 200-lap race with a halftime break at 100 laps, where only green flag laps counted toward the total. Chase Elliott, 7-time most popular driver, emerged victorious in the exhibition race, further fueling the fans' enthusiasm. His post-race comments captured the sentiment perfectly.
You know, truthfully, and I hope we didn't disappoint. It was fun for me, at least, and we'll hopefully come back here one day.
Ryan Blaney echoed similar thoughts. I'm looking forward to hopefully coming back next year. This wasn't just politeness. Drivers genuinely appreciated what Bowman Gray offered them as competitors. What made Bowman Gray particularly appealing to drivers was its worn surface. Unlike newly paved tracks that often face criticism, Bowman Gray's aged surface provided a more authentic racing experience. Chase Elliott highlighted this advantage after winning. The track just seemed bigger to me. I don't know what the technical distance would be, how different it is or not. The straightaways seemed a little longer, the corners weren't so sharp, it didn't seem like it was such a sharp apex. All of those things that, combined with the track surface having some age to it, probably had a pretty large impact on the race being better, and kind of putting it a little more in your hands as far as tire management and all that stuff. This stands in stark contrast to controversial track repaves, like the 2021 reconfiguration of Atlanta Motor Speedway. That project aimed to create a superspeedway experience, but drew criticism from fans because the track lost many of its traditional characteristics. At Bowman Gray, Cup Series drivers were happy to race on an old, battered track regularly used by late-model stars, rather than on a freshly paved surface like the temporary one at the LA Coliseum. Dale Earnhardt Jr. also praised the Bowman Gray experience on his podcast. We've debated formats for a long time, and I'm kinda tired, and so I was entertained with this one. I would keep it the way it is. It was a pure race. No gimmicks, no inverting and silliness. It's up to you whether you want the inside or the outside at this track, and the outside groove surprises me. Am I gonna drop down in the corner of the bottom, risking the fact that I might get punted or run into the guy in front of me charging the corner? I mean, and there was a lot of contact because of those moments, for sure. And so those are always very entertaining, and I mean, honestly, it's a quarter-mile racetrack. The fan reaction was just as enthusiastic as the drivers. Faith Mahaffey from Winston-Salem expressed her excitement. I am so excited. I think that we're about to make history tonight. NASCAR is finally back at Bowman Gray. Robert Lamb, who traveled from Johnston County, said, "We're back. It's going back to the roots that NASCAR had a long, long time ago, and it's really good to see them coming back to a historic place like Bowman Gray Stadium." A.J. Pittman from Wilson emphasized the appeal of short track racing. They want to see racing, and so little short tracks, that's where it's at. They need to go back to a lot more short tracks. Lama added his expectations for the race. "It's gonna be some beating and banging. There ain't much 2 or 3 wide gonna happen tonight unless you force your way into a hole, so it'd be really good, action-packed racing." The contrast with the previous Clash venue was stark. The unofficial kickoff to the NASCAR season had been held at Daytona International Speedway from 1979 to 2021 before moving to Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum from 2022 to 2024. The LA experiment yielded mixed results, with last year's rain-impacted event forcing NASCAR to cram all on-track activities into a single day. The racing quality suffered, with drivers struggling to string together multiple green flag laps, resulting in caution-heavy crash fests that many found disappointing. The decision to return to NASCAR's simpler routes and stay closer to home in 2025 proved to be the right call, given the overwhelming positive response. Now comes the truly shocking news. Ben Kennedy, NASCAR's Executive Vice President and Chief Venue and Racing Innovations Officer, recently dropped a bombshell regarding Bowman Gray's future in the Cup Series. Kennedy has a special connection with Bowman Gray. He ran 3 races in the NASCAR K and N Pro Series East Division at the track between 2011 and 2013, winning there in 2013. This personal history gives his comments about the venue added weight. In January 2025, Kennedy expressed his appreciation for the venue, saying, "I think walking into that place, you could just sense and feel everything that had transpired at that track before." Following the successful 2025 Clash, Kennedy couldn't contain his enthusiasm when interviewed by Chris Weaver. He first praised the event.
We had a great event this spring. It was fantastic. The energy was electric there at the track. The fans turned out in droves, partners turned out in droves. Fox, did a nice job being able to put it on. And
then came the statement that shocked the NASCAR world.
Could there be a place for Bowman Gray on the Cup schedule? I think there could be. We just want to be very thoughtful about the timing of it, make sure it still keeps the same level of energy in the second year if we decide to go down that path, and still keep what Bowman Gray makes Bowman Gray special.
This wasn't just a vague acknowledgement of the event's success. It was a direct indication that NASCAR is actively considering Bowman Gray for a regular spot on the Cup Series schedule. Coming from someone in Kennedy's position, this represents a significant shift in NASCAR's approach to venue selection. The prospect of Bowman Gray becoming a permanent fixture in the Cup Series schedule would mark a dramatic return to NASCAR's short-track roots. It would embrace the atmosphere that made NASCAR popular in the first place: close quarters racing, intense competition, and an intimate fan experience.